Hi everybody, welcome back to Tale of Four Gamers, the January update, the penultimate update. We have been building away. We are 1 month away from doing the final. We're actually about 3 weeks out from doing the big event, the final event. We've put that up on Patreon. People are coming. Some of you are coming. I think we're all already at 2,000 points. But it's been an interesting month trying to get restarted after Christmas. So we'll have a chat about that after this. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Welcome back. So Tale of Four Gamers back for our January update. So we're going to do this like always. We'll have a little chat about what we've been doing or what we haven't been doing. We're going to go through our updates, probably our final updates before the event and what we're going to try and get done in the next few weeks. And then we're going to look at all your community submissions. We've got lots of submissions. We always have lots of submissions. I'm amazed at how popular this has been. That's going to come up when we do our debrief after the event. So without further ado, what have we all been doing? I mean, I think I know the answer, right? Not much. Yeah.
Some of us have been busier than others, it seems.
I think you might have been the busiest, Bobbie.
Oh, I don't know. I think Gary's the busiest.
I think you've got the most photos in our show notes.
I did a lot of building, but no painting this month.
Yeah, I think to be honest, it's been interesting, right? Because we did that event before Christmas. We did the Christmas, the December Zone Mortalis, and the weird thing about that for me is that feels like I've now got an army. So then the impetus to like get more finished is less, and so it's been a really slow month for me. I mean, there's some other reasons why it's been a really slow month, but yeah, that and then stopping completely for Christmas and then getting restarted after Christmas. Yeah, I haven't picked up many white scars this month.
Yeah, it's been hard to pick up the paintbrush, so it has. Motivation's been lacking.
Yeah. Same as everyone, I think.
I've had the desire, but not the time. Just busy at work and needing to get a rest every once in a while.
Yeah.
Not lack of willingness.
I've definitely had the want to paint things, but just not the want to paint yellow.
Yeah. We've got. You know what it is? I mean, it's been a while since. I don't think on Tale of Four Gamers we've ever done an army this big, and it's been a while since I tried painting an army this big in like all at once.
My first army for the fantasy one was many more models than this.
Oh, fair point.
Yeah, my fantasy army ended up being quite big, but that's because I ended up building like 4,000 points of undead.
Yeah, whereas mine was like a bloodthirster and like the bare minimum of things. We should say that's probably something we're going to end up. One of the things we'll do over summer is probably the updates to that army, because that event's going to happen again. So we might do a Tale of Four Gamers update, our 5th edition Warhammer Fantasy armies. But yeah, it's been difficult. It's been difficult to get back into the swing of things. I haven't played any games. I've got one game coming up this week, which is nice. That'll give me an excuse. But yeah, I haven't played that many games since the last update. I haven't done that much hobbying. I've got a few. I think we've all got a few updates. But also, I wonder if I don't know about you, but like after pandemic, like last year was a really busy year for me in work as well. And then when it hit December, everything seemed to slow down. Like it's like Christmas started early. and so there was this big long pause in December, and just getting back into the swing of things was a nightmare.
Yeah, I wish. No, my life apart from the actual Christmas holidays has just been manic since pretty much since the last event. Yeah, struggling to do anything hobby during the week, and even at the weekends, it's not been easy a lot of the time.
It's the way of things, isn't it? Sometimes there's fallow periods where we can't get anything done. But yeah, look, we did actually all get something done. Well done, everybody. Partly, I mean, to be fair, partly because we knew this update was coming and we had to bloody do something. So this is all doing its job. The reason we do this, we are actually getting the army done. So yeah, I reckon we're probably all at 2,000, but let's have a look. So should we go through the actual updates from us? Let's start with Russ. So Russ, Blackshields, you've got a load of building done, right?
Yeah, so I've spent a huge chunk of this weekend basically building 3 Castellaxes. So I got them all cleaned and off sprues a little while ago. But it was one of those sort of jobs I didn't want to sit down and do it too piecemeal. So I've managed to make all of my Castellaxes. So I've only put photos of one in our little group, but I've got 3 of these. They've each got magnetized siege wreckers, which are
they're the plastic ones, right?
They're the plastic ones from the Space Marine Centurions.
Oh, yeah.
But they've also got their just regular claws with a flamer, which I've actually made it so I can remove the flamer in case I decide I want bolters to be as cheap as possible. I wanted to make it easy for myself, and then realised I'm not allowed to, because that's basically my role on the show, is to make life hard for myself.
You magnetise the extra weapons on the claw.
Well, the thing is, I didn't know if I was going to want bolters or flamers. Because the flamers are 5 points each, and it's like, well, they might be useless. I'm hoping they'll provide me with a nice wall of death to stop things charging me. But, you know, if I'm always being charged with things with a 2+ save, they're not really going to kill anything, so there'll be no point to them. Whereas if people keep charging them with 3+ things, or if they're the things that causes it to be 2+ instead of 3+ things, then it's worth paying the extra 15 points on the unit. But we'll see. We'll see.
One of the things I did, and I'll get to this later because of various life things, but one of the things I did this month was go through and store a lot of my old models because I had to. And one of the things I did was separate out all the vehicles that could be used in a Solar Auxilia army. Because I'm thinking I might convert... I'm thinking of doing conversions, so I've got a few converted Solar Auxilia. Like, do a little converted Solar Auxilia army, because then all of your weapons that do something against AP4 will, like, do something. You can all enjoy yourselves killing things that have AP4.
So my 2 original squads are, apart from oil washes, completely finished. I do still want to put the oil washes on them, but I want to do the entire army oil wash all at once.
Yes, because of the smell.
Otherwise, it's just like a bit of a waste of time, really.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been really pleased. They've been very popular on Instagram. They've had by far the most likes I've had for anything I've ever put on Instagram. Partly because I think it's just a bit more mainstream than some of the stuff I put up there. But still, even so, you know, it's nice when people say nice things.
I do like the idea that the most mainstream thing for you is where you try and recreate an obscure photo from the back pages of a Rogue Trader from 25 years ago, and that's getting the most because it's the most mainstream thing you've posted.
I think they're quite eye-catching as well. They're nice bright colour schemes as well. So yeah, when you're scrolling through a feed, they do sort of stand out.
Yeah, I'm incredibly happy with how they look, and I think once I've got them, those 2 squads plus my Iron Circle
Hammery guys
robots, so they're a nice bright colour scheme. These guys are going to be in the Albion Wanderers Blood Bowl scheme, which is blue on one side, and on the other side it's red with yellow spots.
Yeah, dots.
Yeah, exactly. A little bit Mr. Blobby-esque, frankly. But then the other squad I've got a big chunk of them done is the 2 halves of my Terminators. But I ummed and ahed about their colour scheme for ages, and then I went and looked at a colour wheel and realised that on a colour wheel I've already got the purple and the yellow. And if I wanted to add cyan and orange, that would make a perfect square on a colour wheel. And so that's what I've gone for. And so the Terminators, although they are incredibly ugly, I feel they're ugly in kind of a good way. And I've got 5 more of them half painted now. Well, not half painted, let's say a quarter painted. Yeah, I should have all of that done because I've got half term in a week. So I've got basically a week of painting, and then a week after that we go to Warhammer World.
Mm-hmm.
And that will, if I get everything, plus I've got Exodus to paint, which is the model I got from Cordal. So, you know, I'm making headway. I've just got to make headway slightly quicker. I've got to build a Pravian. That's the only thing I've got left to build. Getting there slowly.
Oh,
I will have something to play with.
That's still a lot, though. There's still a lot of updating. That's really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
One day
brilliant.
I'll do something to make my own life easier instead of harder.
Well, the next Tale of 4 Gamers will definitely be in easy mode. Bobbie, you I think have a ton of updates here. They might be mini updates, but I feel like you've done a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I have. I keep getting distracted by painting things that are for this army, but not for the army I actually want to play at the event. Like I've painted this whacking great big Leviathan Dreadnought, which was a bit of a nightmare because trying to get something that big be one color of yellow was just it took so long and like repainting and trying to glaze the yellow and get it to the right tone, and yeah, it was horrible. Which is why there's a bit more dirtiness and chipping and things on this to kind of hide some of the slight mistakes. But I think it's come out looking okay. I'm quite happy with it.
It's really good.
Looking great.
And yeah, it's not in my main list, but it's about the same cost as my 10 Templars in a Rhino. So I might have to write a second version of the list with that guy in instead. Just
I think he can smash his way in, surely.
Yeah, I'm doing.
Well, yeah.
I'm doing a similar thing with like maybe I'll have a couple of options. Yeah, just so
I think if I can have like maybe just 2 lists and see what I want to play on the day.
Yeah.
I thought about that and then realised that would be a whole extra 2 more squads with a headhunter and then a Fritz squad, and that's just never going to happen. I was like, no, don't be silly. I was going to say, the white transfer on the top of the Leviathan like that, does it come pre-split in half like that for that purpose?
That's actually from an old Space Marine vehicle transfer sheet that it was split in half, and I was just like, well, that works out perfectly fine.
Yeah, I just really like the way it's split in half like that. I wasn't sure if it was intentional or if you sort of hacked something to bits, but sort of repurposed something old then instead, yeah?
Yeah, it was from an older transfer sheet.
And then you finished up your Siege Breaker.
Well, sort of. There's still a few little details. I've got to paint his eyes and a few like the targeting bits on the back of his backpack, and I want to do some fancy bits on his shield because he's an officer. He's going to have a fancy shield. But yeah, it's more that I had to rebuild him. He fell off my desk at one point, and I ran over him with my chair, and his base got obliterated, and his legs came off, and he needed some pretty major reworking.
That photo was heartbreaking, just looking at it.
Yeah, when I found him down there, I don't know how it happened, but yeah, I was not happy about it. But yeah, these things happen. Sometimes you get these problems in your hobby and you got to solve them.
You can rebuild him. You have the technology.
I was a little bit tempted to give him 2 bionic legs after that, but that would be even more work.
And then more 3D printing.
Yes, I have finally got all the bits for my second unit of Phalanx Warders because I have to have my 2 compulsory troops as Phalanx Warders. So yeah, 3D printed all the axes and bits and bobs, and cast up a bunch more of the shields that I made a mold for. So they're coming along. I did do a few extra little conversions because I can't help myself. The sergeant, he has.
You've been doing riveting.
I converted a Mark III Space Marine into a different style of Mark III Space Marine to match the old Jez Goodwin sculpt from the mid-90s. I wanted that kind of. He's a sergeant, so he's wearing an older version of the Mark III armor. That's my logic in my head.
Mark IIIA instead of Mark IIIB.
Exactly, and he had to have a thunder hammer because I wanted him to. The other sergeant's got a Solarite power gauntlet, so I wanted both special options for them to smash faces with.
Looks great. I should say, we should say that while if people are new to Tale of Four Gamers, which is weird at this point in it, that all of Bobbie's 3D printed things are things she has sculpted in Blender herself.
Fusion 360. Yeah, I mean, I understand people wanting to just download bits and stuff, but for me, it's a skill that I have and I want to use, and it means that I'm also okay to use them at Games Workshop because they don't mind people using 3D bits if they've designed them themselves.
Exactly.
Whereas they get a bit funny if it's stuff that you've downloaded.
Yeah.
At that point, it starts to feel like cheating to me a little bit.
It's when people are downloading files for whole miniatures and printing up whole miniatures.
It's the same as designing your own green stuff shoulder pad and then making bits.
That's why they're fine with people designing their own stuff because it is the same. It's just using different skills to make
people designing their own stuff is brilliant. But what I'm not even talking about necessarily copying actual GW designs, which is just outright theft as far as I'm concerned. But what I do mean is if you just get other people's stuff and 3D print it, I mean, I know that it's technically no different to just buying stuff from GW anyway. It just feels a little bit like cheating if you want to personalize it.
I don't know.
Then do it yourself.
I don't know. Like, I don't have the skills of being a 3D sculptor. I can do basic stuff, but not that much. But I've certainly found it useful. Again, like the idea of downloading an entire model that is meant to be a copy of Games Workshop model is like, yeah, that's a bit much. But certainly there's certainly brilliant things I've had where I've got like 8 of an old version of a weapon or piece of armor and I need 10. And the ability to like go on and find, someone has finally recreated this one old marine bit in SSTL, so I can finally just finish the unit is like really, really useful.
As well.
Yeah.
Because I've done like resin or green stuff cast. If I've got like
me too. Yeah.
If I've got like 17 complete models and then like 3 where I'm missing one arm, like I've done like some Chaos Terminators, I'm like, I need one spare arm. I'm not going on the internet and paying Goldfish Blue 25 quid for one arm. I'm casting this, you know?
What I was going to say, I did, anyone who might have spotted in the image for the Phalanx Warders, I actually have 2 Nuncio Voxes and 2 Vexilla because I decided I actually wanted ones for my first unit and I didn't model them, so I've
doubled up.
I'm just going to swap over some figures between the squads because that's just from playing actually playing the game and playing in Zone Mortalis. I was like, actually, a Vexilla, that one combat resolution can really make a difference. It's definitely worth it on
What if they're very, very, very slightly different colours?
Oh, they probably will be, but anyone who mentions it is going to get the model thrown at them.
3 models, woohoo!
And finally, you have some Templars that look good.
Yeah, I've been slowly working on these guys. You've definitely seen them if you've watched the episodes previously. Yeah, I've done the basing on them finally because they were just knocking around on plain black bases for ages, and put transfers on, which I think's really made a lot of difference. They were looking a bit boring beforehand, and just all that iconography's made them a bit more interesting. Still got a few more bits to do on them. I want to do some more weathering, and they need backpacks. I'm converting the backpacks for them, so I need to print all the bits to convert the backpacks, but I'll get around to that. But that's like a day's worth of work to do the backpacks. I've just got to make sure I schedule a day between now and the event to do it.
Brilliant.
I've realised that guy with the moustache reminds me of someone, but I can't figure out who. I'm trying to do my quick of research now. I'm thinking he also looks a little bit like Alf Garnett.
Oh God, he does. Yes,
which
that's
is
what
like,
it is.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
That's very appropriate. Bobbie, brilliant. Loads of bits there. Well on the way to having your. I like that you actually don't quite have your 2,000 point army for the event yet.
No, not at all. I've got that Phalanx Warder squad. I've got to do 5 guys with missile launchers at least. And I've still got to print and build and paint the rapier battery that I've started. I've got the crew done, but there's still lots for me to do. I mean, I could rewrite a completely different army list to use stuff I've already painted, like my Predator and Contemptor and stuff, but I'm not going to. I'm going to force myself to paint things that aren't done, have the list I want.
Brilliant. Brilliant updates. Gary, how have you been doing?
Pretty good. Like sort of steady building, no painting. So I think when we did the event last month, I had something like 1,200 points to choose from. Like I had to leave. The vehicles are going to really ramp up the speed of the next 1,000. And
that's mostly what we've been doing this month, right? You've done a few squads, but most because at Christmas we saw you had a few tactical squads and Grey Slayer squads, but this month is vehicle month.
So I started off the month by doing the magnetizing, which I sort of alluded to last episode with I magnetized that, and then I built the Spartan, and I magnetized the fronts of the 2 tanks so I can swap out las cannons to bolters. I didn't bother with the heavy flamer option after the chat about, the template's going to be back inside, so it's not going to reach very far. So yes, I didn't bother with the flamer option. And then when they were built, I built land speeders next.
Yeah.
Mark 6 beaky land speeders, which I got at Warhammer World. So the last few times we've been, I've picked up one of the...
But not just the normal Proteus ones, right? The fancy special edition Proteus ones.
Yes, it's the one that you can only buy at Warhammer World. So yes, I bought 3 of those. They come only with 1 weapon. That's the only downside of it. So if you buy it on the web store, you get 2 heavy weapons and 2 hunter-killer missiles as your loadout options.
And that's the version which is Mark IV drivers.
Yeah. On the website. But when you go to Warhammer World, they've got the special edition which has Mark 6 crew, which means I don't have to do any converting of the crew. They'll just, go slot straight into the army. But you only get 1 weapon, which is the Melta, which is the weapon I would choose first. Which is a bit annoying for people who buy on the web store, because it means they're getting options like heavy plasma and heavy flamers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they want Meltas, and the only way they can get Melta is to go to Nottingham.
I mean, to be fair, Melta is one of the easiest things to pick up because every vehicle sprue has a Melta gun on it.
Yeah, so I did convert up some magnetized mounts to replace the front sensor array, so that can come off, and I've got 3 more Meltas at the front, so it'll be 3 speeders, double Melta, or if I want to save some points, put on the heavy flamers. Mm-hmm. I still haven't worked out what's best, 3 individuals, because they'll be my only fast attack. Do I put 3 individual squads, or do I put all 3 into one unit? I don't know what the benefit of the unit is. So yeah, so they're good. I haven't put any magnets on anywhere for hunter killers, but I do like the idea of going in with double Meltas and 6 hunter killers, just as like I'm removing something.
It's quite a hit of points though, because hunter killers 5 points each or 10 points each.
5 points each. They're actually not that bad. Like if you load up on them, because I was having the same thing for my jet bikes.
Yeah.
Like you just go look.
So if you haven't got enough points to fill out a unit of something, then 30 points on a quick barrage. And even if it only does a few wounds, but if it's a couple of wounds on the right thing, it can make a difference, can't it?
Yeah.
But it's quite easy to find 6 missiles and achieve nothing.
Yeah, but it's the sort of thing that when your army comes up to 1990 points,
you might as well
stick 2 hunter-killer missiles in.
Yeah.
If you put a few wounds on someone's Land Raider, they'll be less brave with it. They won't be going charged.
Like you might do nothing, but you might just put 1 or 2 points on the right thing. It can put some fear in people's mind. Yeah, can't drive where those las cannons can see me anymore, like I was planning to. Sort of vibe. So
I did the land speeders, and then I went back to infantry because I don't have enough line troops. I don't think. Mm-hmm. So I built another 20 tactical marines, and I forgot to put sergeants in. I'll have to work that one out. I just built 20.
Just give one like a different colour shoulder pad or something.
Yeah.
Just a different colour helmet.
Kill a different colour helmet. The classic thing, isn't it?
When I do the next set of tactical squads, I'll make 2 captains and swap in, a bit like what you did with your Vexillas.
I've got I've got plenty of spare top knots. If you need the guy with the top knots.
I've got so many bits. It was just I was at the desk just building, and just building 20 of those, and then I built 10 las cannon heavies, and then I built 10 missile heavies. So I've got like 40 marines to paint, and then I went on to transports because they need to get across the battlefield.
So tell us a story here, because you already had a load. These aren't the new plastic rhinos, right? You already had a load of old ones.
Yeah, so it was a few years ago. Someone at Hate was selling. It was reasonably cheap. I think it was like £90 or something. They were selling 3 Demonless Rhinos, and I was like, yeah, I'll have those already built.
I have a vague memory of being like, oh, bugger, Gary saw the post and said, yes, please, first.
Yeah, grab those. I will be doing something at some point. And they just sat in the box waiting for a while. And then when I was at Warhammer World one time, I saw the Command Rhino, and I was like, yeah, I love that. Bought that, put it into the stash with the other one. What it was, they did one of those fear of missing out emails where they say, oh, last chance to buy. And they picked the Command Rhino up, and I was like, yeah, I need one of those. So I bought another, forgetting that I already had one. Just spur of the moment, I want one of those. So I have 2 Command Rhinos and 3 regular, but I don't need 2 Command Rhinos. So
well, I've now got your other kit for a Command Rhino. Yeah. But it does mean that, so it means that you've now got 5 old-style resin upgrade to the plastic Rhino.
Yeah, and I'm so glad the first 3 were built, because I didn't enjoy building the other 2 at all. Like, they were warped.
Getting the sides to fit onto the hull is so. It was. I've built the When the laser vindicator version, and I had the same problem. Like the sides are just such a pain. The new plastic kit is just amazing.
Good, but it just didn't stay straight, and I was putting it on hot water in the kettle, and then it's half glued in. Now it's wet and glued, so I'm like, leave it there. Come back to it later. Oh no, it's warped again. Right back in the kettle thing, you know. And some gaps at the end, I just stuffed with green stuff and mullered it. When I was building the tactical marines, I accidentally dropped one of the legs into my polycement. So I accidentally started making sprue glue. This is my first time ever using sprue glue. So I put a whole bunch more sprue into the polycement, and it's great. I love it. Like I put way too much on these rhinos. You know, I got a bit carried away. I was like, yeah, that's like oil, isn't it? Just put it all around the corners on the thing.
You've done battle damage.
Yeah. So they're going to be well grimy looking. So yeah,
there's a Death Guard army after all.
And I was looking at them and I was thinking, what am I doing rhinos for? Everybody's bringing 100 meltas to pop all these contemptors. So the meta is completely wrong for rhinos, but they look good. Yeah. And like you said,
I mean, as long as they survive the first turn and you get to rocket yourself across the battlefield, that's. I mean, for Space Force, you just want to get close to the enemy, don't you? I think
get onto the objectives, yeah.
Yeah, and also like, although they're not great and they're easy to pop, that requires you popping them instead of targeting something else.
That's correct, yeah. So you have to choose to shoot your heavy weapons at those and not my Land Raider with my Terminators who are crossing, yeah. Target priority options. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I was building those. Also, I went for the Havoc launchers. I really like the new plastic Havoc launcher that's on the new sprue. Yeah. It's a really nice thing. And back when we played a lot of Fifth, I had Chaos and I put Havoc launchers on everything. You know, I love the Havoc launcher with the 2 shots with strength 5 templates landing in there. It just...
But they're magnetized, right?
I've magnetized, so if I need to be cheap on points, I can put on the blank hatches.
Yeah, it's another like, I've got a spare, I've done all the things I wanted in the army, I've got a spare 50 points, what do? Oh, a couple of Havoc launchers, yeah.
Yeah, the way I see it is that's a lot of damage, so you have to look at those rhinos now, because if you don't, they're going to kill a couple of marines a turn.
Well, that's loads, Gary. I mean, everyone's done so much, and now I feel slightly embarrassed about my progress. So I should probably explain.
But we said we were going slow after Christmas. We were just trying to make you feel better.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, I've already accounted for this in my previous few months. So I should probably explain. Obviously, I've already got a 2,000 point army. I've already got a 3,000 fucking point army because when I painted up all my models, I painted them all up. And after vehicle month and all the models month, I've got way more than 2,000 points. So that's fine. But at Christmas, my flat was not flooded, but like it had a leak from a flat above that ruined all my floors, which has obviously been a nightmare to sort out. It's all being fixed on insurance, but what that means is I have to move out. I'm moving out this week, which is why I'm coming from my workplace instead of home. The whole hobby room is packed up. All my hobby stuff is in storage. All the paints are in storage. Half my house is in storage. I'll be moving out probably in the next week. And then I'll probably be living in an Airbnb or for the next, I would guess, about 3 months while every single floor in my house is taken up. It's industrially sanitized and dried, and then it's all refurbished and rebuilt back to where it was in my flat. So yeah, that's going to be the next 3 months for me, which has made hobbying difficult. It's made prioritizing difficult. Obviously, my hobby room was full of my little office, basically, that I also do all my YouTubing and building and things in. It's a tiny little like box room. It was full of like half-finished projects that are there, and like I just want to get done and out of the way and away in a KR case before I have to move out. So those have all taken priority. And also because they're the sort of thing, because again, it's a disadvantage of how I paint. I paint these big batches that I do oil washes and varnishes and all this sort of thing on, and that's the sort of stuff I probably can't do in an Airbnb. Like, I could probably paint normal stuff, but I probably can't do that sort of stuff. So essentially, I've got very little done. There's been a bit of a goal.
Sounds like excuses to me, but you know.
There's been a bit of. So I do have an actual excuse though, as well as this. So one of the things I wanted to do this month was I was thinking I'd do speeders and bikes, and then of course they announced the new scimitar kits are coming out as plastic kits. Now, I have a ton of scimitars from years and years and years ago where I bought them all over a period of time. I also got some on eBay. I got some old people's things. I've got loads of scimitars, but they're all the Forge World ones, the resin ones, which have Mark IV bodies and legs, which is fine. So I was like, yeah, fine. I'll just use the Mark IV rider legs and I'll put Mark VI bodies on them. It'll be fine. But obviously now the plastic ones are coming out. That means Mark VI biker legs are going to become available. So suddenly that means the bikes have been sort of shelved as an idea for a while, because I want to wait till that bike kit's out, and then I'll get a few bike kits, and I'll also buy a load of Bitsights Mark VI biker legs, and that will be lovely. So that puts bikes, like, regardless of houses and shit, that puts bikes on the back burner. That's fine. I'm enjoying playing White Scars the other way, which is heavy assault, don't care, gonna all die White Scars. So that's what we'll be doing. What I did get done, though, is I did get some speeders done. So I've done all the airbrushing and masking work on 4 speeders, 2 javelins and 2 Kizagans, which are the fancy javelin that White Scars get. They're like an anti-infantry javelin with assault cannons and twin autocannons.
So I was wondering why they looked slightly different.
Yeah.
And that's obviously the reason.
They're sort of slightly smaller and slightly bulkier. They look a bit more heavily armoured. So the javelins are like a bit longer, and they have twin missile pods, which I'll magnetize to have twin las cannons. And they have, I'm going to put a multi-melter on the rail, like from the spares, the vehicles. And then the Kizagans are a little bit squatter and a little bit sort of heavier looking, and they're going to have twin Reaper autocannons, and they have a built-in assault cannon on the front.
Yeah.
So they're like lots of shots, light vehicle, anti-infantry version, and they're a bit tougher than the regular javelin.
Yeah.
Those are interesting kits. The Kizagans are you can tell the development of Forge World, right? Because the Kizagans are much better kits than the javelins. They go together just much easier. So the other thing I got is Cordal, who was on the other month, has sent me the console he made for me. So I set him a bit of a challenge. I was like, my Eben Keshig have been doing well, but they're not that great. They're not like elite troops. They're still only weapon skill 4. So although they've got lots of attacks and they're fearless and they've got these big glaives, they're sort of losing against like sometimes regular Terminators or any other elite Terminators. So what would be really useful in them would be something that makes them hit better. Because if they're fighting other elite Terminators, they're hitting on 5s. So I suggested my console choice that Cordal offered to build me was White Scars Tartaros Chaplain, but how do we do White Scars Tartaros Chaplain without it looking like a Stormseer? Just looking like another Stormseer? And he came up with this really nice idea. So he's done this beautiful model, which is this like skull-faced, almost executioner guy. He's got an axe instead of a maul, because then in the Heresy, chaplains have all sorts of things. He's built out of a load of bits like Alaris bits, Gravis bits. He's got a lovely like horse head, like chain thing, and we thought,
I just noticed the horse.
It's really nice.
Yeah, I love the horse head.
And we thought that I came up with the story for it. He did it, and I was like, it looks really good, because in the White Scars, if you've been dishonorable and you're bad, if you're really bad, you get killed by your peers, and if you're not so bad, you get sent off on a Sagyar Mazan, like go and kill yourself honorably in battle. Obviously, my army will all be Sagyar Mazan. So the idea that the chaplain equivalent is like some sort of head-taking executioner is a really nice idea.
Yeah.
So we're going to be like, right, here's my White Scars chaplain. He's got a big old axe. He's going to join the Eben Keshig, who are the penitents who have been sent off for disgracing it. That means that when they face up against other elite Terminators, they are re-rolling hits, which is the big thing.
Which will make a big difference, yeah.
Yeah.
Because by then, you're still being hit fairly easily, but you're hitting back well as well.
Yeah.
If you're against someone with power fists, you'll be hitting first. So
so I think that's a really nice choice. It's a really good little console. It's a brilliant conversion. So I'm so thankful to Cordal. Like, so much of this is green stuff. It's really nicely done. I must say, I might swap out. He's done like a wrist-mounted Alaris combi bolter. I might swap that out for a different combi weapon to match the other weapons. Because he'll be the only thing in the squad that can shoot. So it might be worth giving him like a combi plasma or something.
Combi melter might be more useful if you need to try and like fluke popping open a tank or something.
Maybe. But then you don't really send Eben Keshig against tanks. They're kind of... So yeah, look, that's a brilliant conversion. I'm very thankful for that. It looks brilliant. So my plan for February is essentially get the speeders finished and get him finished. And that'll be the army I take. It'll already be more than 2,000 points. It'll be a Magyar Mazan White Scars army. It will have some speeders, which are those 4, and a load of Terminators and heavy assault troops in Spartans and things. So that's my progress. I think I'll just finish off those. That's my 2,000 point army. We're ready for the game. And yeah, all good. So look, we've all got some progress. I have the least. But I think we're all well on our way to a 2,000 point army. Certainly, I think we're all going to be good. And 3 weeks' time, we'll be playing with it. And then we know what we're going to do for the next one of these. We're certainly going to do something easier, but we will announce that next time. We might announce it in the next few weeks because it is tied into a thing what we got sent. But yeah, so we'll see what happens there. But we are not the only people who have been doing things. You, the humans of Patreon, have also been doing things. So many of you have been doing things. Oh my God, there's so many here. So we are going to look at all the things what you've been doing. So first up on the community updates, we have Paul with his Emperor's Children. He just started this over Christmas. Tries to make them loyalist themed. A lot of people do loyalist Emperor's Children. A standard bearer based on some Fulgrim artwork and the Age of Darkness Contemptor with the old brass etch. Anyone ever work with the old brass etch?
Yeah, I've got some of the Raven Guard, the old one for them. And I turned it into icons for the front of rhinos. But yeah, they're actually not too bad to work with, actually.
You sort of press it around things, don't you?
Yeah.
I don't like it because it's got a really hard edge and paint seems to flake off it quite a lot. It's hard to get it well primed.
Mine stayed flat I put it on a background that I cut out specifically so that it would not have such hard edges, at least sharp edges. But yeah.
It looks good. It looks good until then. But that's all right. We'll just call it weathering. They're looking really good, Paul. That's a fantastic banner. That's insane.
It's a really good start, seeing as it's only been working since Christmas.
Couple of weeks,
like that, so it's a lot done.
Rob has some salamanders, late joiner. 1 month before we all have to have a 2,000 point army, but it's okay because he's working up to 3,000 points for an event in April. Cool. So salamanders. There's a lot done here. I like the lizard man shield used on the Praetor there.
Yeah,
oh yeah, further down.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's really
there's going to be a lot of new shields available. The new plastic Saurus.
Yeah, So the new plastic Saurus have these shields that look like beaten bronze, which I really like because they're like the very original Saurus, rather than shields that look like a bit of their own skin, which is a weird choice.
Yeah. There's
like previous Saurus shields had. Oh, it's a scaly bit of themselves.
They're aunt.
Yeah. Whereas like the beaten bronze ones I quite like. But yeah, anyway, these looking brilliant. I like the white and red. It really stands out against the green. And what I like is that he's managed to do this without that looking like a Christmas tree. White, red, and green.
Now that you've said it, it looks like it's got a little bit of a wreath going on his top of his helmet. Didn't see that till you said that.
Sorry, everybody. Sorry. Simon has finally finished 3,000 points of Imperial Fist for an event in March. There we go. Brilliant. Well done. You're ahead of all of us.
Are those bases all done with bits of sprue for cobblestones?
They might be, yeah. I think we've seen those in close-up before. Yeah, we've seen them
before.
Yeah.
I think we have seen them before. Yeah, they're very cool. I like that.
Brilliant. Well done. So people are finishing up here. Deco finally attached an image of his first tactical squad. These were shown in an assembled state way back in episode 2, which was October and September, and it's taken till now to finish them, which I'm going to blame on having the baby to look after. Yeah, good excuse. There we go. Lovely. I'm particularly liking that orange glow on. I've got one of those exact plasma pistols to paint up in the next week. Might copy that. Looks good. Sons of Horus. Beautiful.
Yeah, they're lovely depth of colour on them.
Yeah, really nice. I like the black and red stripes on the hat. Quite nice.
Yeah.
Garrot. So Garrot has been doing Sisters of Silence. The release of Liber Imperium gave them a new boost. These are all based, weirdly, they're again things that are conversions. They're based on the Myrmidesh Painbringers and the new Chaos Cultist, the spooky Dark Cube Commune, which is the one that looks like Nazgul. But yeah, these look brilliant. Obviously, they also have behind there the best, spookiest transport in the game, the Carol Inquisitor. Absolutely brilliant model.
So this is actually the Sisters of Battle I was talking about a couple of episodes ago.
Oh, wow.
Not Sisters of Silence.
Yeah.
But I was mentioning like the really dark armor. This was the ones I saw.
These are absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
And they're great conversions. Like I'm glad the Sisters are getting the love for all well, they got at least the rules for all these units that have been in the background. Hopefully we'll get official models as well, but these look really fantastic.
I think we probably will. I think it's on the list of like, there's going to be a Big Sisters release, but I love these like conversions of like, using bits of Slanesh stuff. There's obviously a lot of Sister stuff in there too. Using some Slanesh bits, the big chainsaw flame thing from Blackstone Fortress.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So cool.
And obviously, that freaking tank is the best thing ever.
Yeah, one of the main reasons to get into Sisters of Silence, that tank.
Yeah, that thing is incredible. I gave Gary all my Sisters of Silence, so I don't do that as a low thing. But it does now mean Gary has to buy 3 of those tanks.
Quite happy to.
Mazu has done some. It's got quite a good. It's his first submission again. We're just about to finish. Well done. Good timing. It seems like you got a lot done, though. Probably almost 2,000 points in there. So this is First Heresy Army, Loyalist Army. And based on that, I'm going to assume they're Blood Angels, because it doesn't actually say. So I like the... Box Dreadnoughts. So basically, it's all Age of Darkness apart from Box Dreadnoughts, Leviathan, and the Warpsmith doing double duty as a Tech Marine.
I've got that Warpsmith model that I never got round. I was going to think about using it in this army and just never got that far with it. But it is a model I want to make use of, potentially still for this army in the future.
Yeah. There's something that's nice. I really like the whole thing about using Chaos models in Heresy. It's really good. Like just folding in bits of Chaos stuff and going, well, that's just old stuff, isn't it? Yeah. Of course, next up we have our old friend Side, who has been doing Salamanders, but has deviated to do some definitely not Legion of the Damned, as far as I can tell. These are looking brilliant again. I mean, like the wibbly wobbly yellow and black ones are looking great. So this is Adherents, which are the ones from the there was a recent exemplary battles thing that gave them a new squad, which basically have combi flamers.
It's a really cool new squad. I really liked when I read the rules, I thought that people are going to do some really cool conversions, and we're getting to see that. Are
they sort of a despoiler squad analog? A destroyer squad analog?
They're kind of their own weird thing. I'd say they're closer to, they're kind of like destroyers, I guess.
Yeah, looks brilliant. They always look brilliant. Well done. Your whole army is incredible. but yeah.
Not jealous.
No. David is David, who we know because he was at the Zone Mortalis event. We'll see him in a few weeks. His Alpha Legion's got a last few things. He's managed to get up to 3,000 points. So he's got a Sakaran, Leviathan Dread, 5 Dawnbreaker cohort for his rewards of treachery. So he's going for stealing some Blood Angels for his rewards of treachery, and then Armillus Dynats. So that's like a finished army. Well done, David. Callum has done some World Eaters, and he was doing that last month. He's going to continue, but then he got distracted by doing Traitor Iron Warriors, so he's done that instead because he watched my video about them. And to be fair, that Iron Warriors video in the Heresy series, it's the best one. The Iron Warriors story is the best story.
Yeah, the Iron Warriors in 30k and 40k, I think, are really interesting lore-wise and really easy to paint. So it's a good combo.
They're almost the only Legion where it actually is good that they're exactly the same in 40k and 30k.
Yeah,
it makes total sense, and we're fine with it. Every other Legion.
We're not changing. Well, that kind of makes sense that you're just still going to be stubborn bastards, yeah.
Yeah, so he's building them to use them in both game systems, which is nice. But yeah, they look really nice. I really like this really dark paint scheme. It's lovely.
I think I saw these on Twitter as well, just the painted image, and yeah, they're really effective conversions. They've only got a couple of extra heads, a couple of backpack swap, a couple of weapon swaps, but it's enough to make them look really different from just Mark 6s, which is what the kit is.
Yeah, it's really nice. Kenny has done some Thousand Sons progress. A very shiny Spartan done there with a red front and a grey back. I approve. I do like those two-tone schemes, as you see on all my vehicles. Progress on 10 Despoilers, Apothecary, Librarian, and Spartan, and some incredible giant hat plasticard work on that Dreadnought.
Yeah, I love it.
I mean, everything in Warhammer should have giant hats. That's how we know what's important.
Giant hats and giant shoulder pads.
Giant hats. That's Warhammer. Andrew has his first one finished, apart from the bases, but doing Raven Guard, sort of Mark III tacticals, grimy and dirty and corroded. And yeah, part of his Raven Guard Liberation Force. They look really, really nice. I like the sort of dirty trousers Yeah, looking really good. Going to go on some autumnal forest or city parkland bases. In my head, city parkland, ruined city is much more Horus Heresy than autumnal forest, but I mean, I guess it happens everywhere, right?
Yeah, I can see both those working out. I've spotting one guy in the first picture. He's got a bionic arm. That looks really cool. It's nice, subtle conversion in the squad.
Yeah. Mark, a little update from Mark. Mark, no, look, it's nothing personal. He says Contemptors didn't go down too well last month. It's not you. It's Contemptors.
Yeah.
And we'd all just played Nathan repeatedly and been killed. Don't worry, we've found a way to defeat him, and that is, unfortunately, shoot the Contemptors first. So he's got 2 Tonky tanks, which is lovely. So a Lamb Raider and a Spartan there.
Spartan.
Yeah, all good. So that's all.
Nice.
Yeah, Lamb Raider Spartan looking lovely there with great big hands on them because they're the only Iron Hands entrance. Then Synthamite has been done some Alpha Legion. Played this list against the Space Wolves. It looks forward to having 3K, but that looks like you're well on the way there. Got an actual Alfarius there as well, poking people with a spear. Looking really, really good.
Love the Moritat. Wow. That one looks really good.
Yeah. Lovely old model out Moritat.
Yeah.
Then we have Yale. Yale doing World Eaters. Obviously, Studio Guerri has got some lovely stuff over the whole course of this campaign. They've already finished the 2,500 points last week because they were going to send SN Battle Reports No Retreat in Gibraltar. If you don't know about that, SN are lovely humans. They've been doing these battle reports. They do lovely battle reports online. And they also host these like you have to qualify for the event by having a cool enough army so that the whole event looks really good. And then you go to Gibraltar and stay on like a floating hotel and you play a whole tournament on this like long weekend on a floating hotel in Gibraltar while you also go to like up the rock and go to all these tourist excursions. It's a brilliant thing. They do it a few times a year. 24 players from all around the world, because that's what happens when you do an event in Gibraltar, has done this incredible set of tanks to add to the word bearers. I love the green glow there. I like the
green is amazing.
Sikaran. What's the real name for a Sikaran penis tank?
Is it an Omega? That's normally Omega is the really shooty one.
Omega's usually plasma. I don't know.
Sikaran, is it Neuron something?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Venator, maybe.
Venator? Who knows?
It's one of those silly names that they use on lots of things.
Yeah, who knows? It's one of those, yeah. But they're looking absolutely brilliant. This looks absolutely great. I am not even slightly surprised that No Retreat let it in, because that's how they do things. Next up is Jack with Dark Angels. Again, new entrant one entering, but binged all our videos, got inspired to start an army. Here are the Dark Angels, batch painted in 3 days. I like this. I like this sort of thing. Batch painted this many models in 3 days. Yeah, it's good though, right? It's a paint scheme that's like black, do the highlights, do some really cool glowing things, done. So I think that's really good. Ben has been doing Ultramarines, I think our only Ultramarine. August last year, got 2,500 points in events already. 203rd Void Combat Specialists, so they're all in dark colour tones.
Yeah, it's like a nightshade.
Yeah, and intended to form the Silver Eagle's successor chapter when the Heresy's over. Neil has hit the magic 2,000 by Christmas, so they've just been doing some pals for the word bearers, a Sons of Horus boarding party that they can run in Zone Mortalis or on their own. That's the Sons of Horus Praetor from the box there. Anyway, Will has done some Death Guard, so Will's doing Death Guard there. He's played a bunch of games against his friends Alpha Legion. Tried to put together 10 Volkite Culverins, which fantastic. So yeah, he's got a huge amount updated there on the Death Guard there, and a few games played, which is nice to see. Macariel only managed 2 additions for the penultimate update, but it's 2 tanks, and that brings them to 3K. So a Sikaran and a Rhino with a very overeager passenger there.
Bring me closer.
Yeah, bring me closer so I can...
it's got the meme.
Colorblind is doing Night Lords. I really like these Night Lords. They're very they have that lovely Heresy, simple, flat scheme thing. Bought these Tartaros Terminators already assembled in Primes. The only thing I could do was to add some Night Lords bling to them. Yeah. They look great. They look absolutely great. I think this is exactly the right level of bling for Heresy, where they have a bit of a thing, but they're not too over the top. And then we're on to Alexander from Wolfsburg, Germany, back for his very, very regular, has been in every episode of this. Beautiful as we all know, beautiful Imperial Fist army. Got the old Battle for Calth chaplain and commander there involved. Wants to try and get by the next month. Won't be able to make it to Nottingham because obviously we would not expect you to. You're in Germany, but it's going to get a few more bits finished. Trying to get the Praetor finished. Characters from the South Calth box, Sword Brethren, and Contemptors will be the goal for next month. So we'll see if Alex managed to keep up with it. And then another regular contributor, Paul Jaffe Engel. January's a really big month, so 16 more models done. A whole squad of Mark IVs. And then an Avenger Strike Fighter. Remember that? I don't know if you can actually... Can you still... I think it's a PDF unit, isn't it, the Avenger?
I think it might be in the Legacies book, yeah.
Yeah. It's a lovely plane. Really, really nice model.
It's a really bizarre-looking thing with the no wings and all engines, but that's very Space Marine.
Yeah.
Like it's not flying by aerodynamics; it's just fighting its way across the sky.
I love the engines are right at the front. It almost looks like a pod racer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. It's a silly tank.
It's like a brick. It just gets thrown ahead.
And it has like a Gatling cannon on the front. It's great. Dave, again, we're getting all the regulars in this section. Dave's done some more Space Wolves. Dave Fenris is for lovers is his Instagram handle. He's got a rune caster to cast some spells and a pack of grey stalkers. So that's all looking brilliant. And then Manic Mushrooms is back with their Iron Warriors and Imperial Fists. They haven't painted much, cheating a little bit, because that's Sakaran Arcus, which is the missile version of Sakaran, got painted a while ago. So they're going through, they've written a load of backstory involving the Battle of Thal, which is fun. And at the moment, they're at the point where they have 3,500 points of Iron Warriors and rusted the same as Imperial Fists, and loads of Zone Mortalis walls, which is great. But did something Bobbie would not approve of, converted an over-the-shoulder missile launcher to an across-the-chest one.
Oh no, that's excommunicated. A greatest heresy you can do.
Which unit can you take just 2 missile launchers in a squad?
Veterans.
Yeah, veteran tactical.
Yeah, veteran tactical squad. Yeah. Ian has done some Night Lords. January was a good month. A Proteus, 2nd Sakaran, and 3rd Sabre Strike Tank. A lot of good. Sabres are brilliant because they're in the fast attack slot. Plus the 1st Assault Marines. I like the plasma glow there on the Sakaran Amiga.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the Amiga is. Amiga's always plasma. Jedoan. Now, I've said Jedoan. It might be Yedoen or Heroen. I'm not sure because, as he's pointed out, we are all pronouncing it wrong, but every foreigner does. And we're making an effort, and that's what matters. So, whoever you are, well done on these Dark Angels. Got some tacticals assembled, did some painting. For the same trap that hasn't enabled these single painted RP as they started their Blackshields, because of course you can't finish anything while you're starting these things. But these are looking absolutely brilliant. I'm really enjoying those chapter command models. Very good.
That 90s Dark Angels captain painted up in Heresy colours just looks so fantastic.
Yeah, it does. It looks really good with a massive, massive hat. Those massive hats are actually replicated on some of the modern Heresy models.
It looks a lot better than it normally does in green.
Yeah. Well, brilliant. Will has gone. Same thing we've all had. This going back to work thing has really interfered with his hobby time. He's written a 2,000 point list based loosely around what was finished. So he's nearly done. 2 Marines, Contempt, and the vehicles left to do. And yeah, so that's all going to happen. Kieran is doing some Iron Warriors, so he's done some tanks. Updated for the community section of Tale of 4 Gamers. His army is turning slowly into an armoured spear Hess force. Malice influenced Black Shield 211th Garrison of Iron Warriors has some tanks added there, looking brilliant as ever. Really good there.
Yeah, they look fierce.
And then we are on to Ed. Ed, who we all know from Hate Club, has sent in some Predators, some lovely boxy... I love these Predators. They're so nice. I've got a couple in my Emperor's Children.
I hate these Predators.
Really?
I'm going to also go on that. This is my least favourite model of the Predator.
Oh, it's so stupid, though.
Yeah, I guess. It wins on stupid points, but... After having the dome one,
plastic dome ones are the best.
Yeah, but I like these two. Yeah, so Ed's done a couple of these, adding some more details. First attempt at oil washes, which Monk, Googly-eyed Skull on the YouTube has walked him through that. Yeah, looking really good. Luke has come back in. He's been very busy this month, as all of us have, but he's got a few Sons of Horus done. They're looking really nice, so well done, Luke. A few more bits to go before 2,000 points.
I love the chains all over that Contemptor. Chains and skulls.
Yeah,
on the
looking
Contemptor.
particularly spooky, aren't they? Yeah, very good. And then Rob S has done some Death Guards. He's at 2,000 points. So Rob is at 2,000 points. Loyal-ish Death Guard. So started on New Year's Eve. That's good going.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, really good. Apparently this is all our fault. I'd successfully given up this hobby, but your 40k lore in 20 minutes video appeared in my feed one day, and it's all my fault that now he's got a plastic crack habit.
Hate to think how many people you've influenced into this.
It's my standard thing to...
Basically, you need
financially
to pay him for that army.
financially crippling hobby that you're just enabling.
Take the checks in the mail, isn't it, from GW?
Yeah. That's how it works, right? GW, right? Ben has done some White Scar. So Ben's White Scar update is this guy, Jagatai Khan himself, looking brilliant there on his... That's the bit of the base you take off from the main bit of the base to play him in a game. Yeah. He slots into a bigger one, looking good. And then Arsa is back with almost got in just in time with their Emperor's Children Proteus, which is looking really nice. Looking really bright and good. I can tell there, because I've used them on some Chaos bits. That is the biggest number 3 in the Emperor's Children Forge World transfer sheet. Callum has back with his Alpha Legion finally. So again, now has been working on his Legion army at the same time as us since August last year, and now has 5,000 points painted.
Wow.
Yeah. Brilliant. Done a lot more Kish bashing than anticipated. Yep, that is how Heresy works. Because we've all got loads of bits that fit on Marines, and the whole setting is designed for you to use whatever the hell bit of Marine stuff you want. Put together a spoiler squad with a Mark 6 kit and an unused Chaos Space Marine sprue, which I love, and use some Scout Snipers to make a steeper squad. Yeah, it looking absolutely brilliant. So
the Alpha Legion's Contemptor Dreadnought is really nice.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of the nicest ones. It's also not very sneaky. It's like no one's going to guess what faction he's from.
But if you take Alfarius, you can still deep strike those Leviathans and Contemptors. So
it's looking good.
Infiltrate. I mean, not deep strike. Infiltrate. Yeah.
Well, there we go. Look, I mean, what's nice about this? We've got a load of people who have almost finished or have finished. So I think next month we'll be asking for final submissions. Maybe next month's job is to post a picture of all the painted models you have. And I think we'll probably do the same. So next month's update will come after we've done the event. We're going to do the event. I think we'll all maybe post a picture of our finished armies for February. Then we will move on. We'll do something else for a few months. I think there's ideas that we'll come back to this. We'll revisit the Heresy armies, maybe see what we do with some updates in a few months' time. I think maybe summer might be the next one, which we know is going to be a bit of a lighter, easier one. And then maybe some updates to the Heresy army, some updates to the 5th edition armies from the first Tale of 4 Gamers. We'll see. So look, thanks everyone for submitting. It's been a difficult month, but we're almost there. We'll see many of you in Nottingham in a few weeks' time. Gary, Bobbie, Russ, thank you. And we will see you in a few weeks.
Cheers.
For the final update. See you later.
Okay, bye.
Bye.